This is answering your question about your CAD issue. One thing when I was opening this, you have some embedded files or something in here that are not, you didn't share with me. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, here's your problem. You see, first you need to go and open up your layers property palette. So, this is it here. So if it's off, it's going to look like that or something similar. So you've got all these layers, and I'm assuming you had this layer properties dialog open before because you've created some layers, looks like. But you see here that this layer is not printing, and this is the def points. Let's see what that is. If I turn it off, you can see the that thing that you're missing. The text. And if we come into here, into your, looks like it's text and a bunch of other stuff. And the weird thing though is that I can't figure out how to actually, maybe this is a certain kind of, I don't know where this layer came from, and it doesn't seem like I can turn it on or off on the printer. So like for example, I can not print this glass layer or print it. So what I'm going to do is just create a new layer. So I did that. I'm going to call it text. And I'm going to move some of this text to that layer. So if I'm just going to move what's on that, I'm going to move one piece of text from one of the drawings. You'll have to move the rest of it. And anything else that disappears, or other things you can't see, were probably on this layer, this def points layer. Anyway, so I selected the layer. I selected the text. One easy way of doing this is I make the text layer current. I come up here to my layers panel, and there's this icon here that says change to current layer. So I'm going to do that, and then if I turn that on and off, I can see that now that this text is disappearing, right? And it should be the same here. If I go to layout, yeah, it's off, and now it's going to be on. So now if I go into my layout, and you could just, I know what you were doing, I think, is just plotting. It should be the same thing if I go to plot here to make a PDF. I'm just going to do it internally here. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. So if I go to layout and right click, go to page setup manager, I'm choosing this first layout to modify. By the way, if you look in the final portfolio deliverable requirements, it's actually supposed to be in a 24 by 36 inch sheet. And so you're doing it 11 by 17 right now, which is what most people were doing for individual iterations, but I'm trying to get people to lay this out on a larger sheet. You're never going to pretty much use 11 by 17 in actual architecture. I mean, you might for, I don't know, to hand something to a client or internal in the office, but if you're actually making plans that someone needs to look at for some real reason, you're not going to do it in 11 by 17s. And so I just want to point out to you that your scale is at 1:1, so that means that you're not actually, I think what you're doing, let me go back out of here, if you just come in here and like zoom in and out of your, if I do this and I just kind of zoom in and make it what I want, that's not actually scaling. I mean, making it the size I want so it fits in my page, that's not actually scaling it. You want it to be that let me go back to it, make sure it's okay. If I'm here and I measure one of these lines, actually I don't even know what units you're in right now. Let me see, units. Okay, you're in architectural, that's good. If I measure something here, sorry. So I'm going to measure this line. Yeah, it looks like that's 24 feet. That's probably what you were trying to do. So then the point is, if I'm actually scaling this and that this represents 24 feet, this line here, then I have to create a layout that when I scale it to 1/16 inch equals a foot, that's actually the size that this line displays here, so that if I, for example, if I had a ruler, tape measure or something, and I was looking at the actual drawings and they were printed out, I could put that ruler, that scale on the drawing and get an actual dimension off that line. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. You just do what you need to do. Get this done as best as you can. Ask me questions. But let's go back then and look at this page setup manager, modify. So if I now preview it, you see now I have my text there. So we fixed that. But there's also this lines cut off here. Why is that going on, this line on the edge? Well, it's because if you look at see this dotted line? This is the actual print borders of your sheet. So you can either change that and make it larger, or we could just actually, I guess I can do that over here. I can modify the size of this viewport. I'm going to pull it in a little bit, pull it up a little bit. So now it should be that if I go into my layout and I make a preview, that now, everything is showing up. All right? And it should be true now because that preview should be the plotting preview also. So if I go here, and let's just try it, see if that works. Because now I'm plotting, but all these settings are the same now, right? And so if I, okay, let's just do that one. I think I might have already done this, so let me just do 1.1. And save it. This is my desktop, so I'll go, well, there it is. So that worked. All right. Okay, I think that's the only question that you had for me. So let me know if you have more. Talk to you soon.